Well, 1273. Concerning psychology, Thomas thinks that every human has a soul, which is immaterial. This form is a pure spiritual substantial that is in not a single way dependable on something of material. That is the reason why the soul is immortal. Thomas thinks that a human being can impossibly be good without a good balance with the general well being of society. The more a virtue is focused on the general well being, the better the virtue is. The best, um, organization of society on earth is, according to Thomas, the kingdom. So there must be no doubt about that. But matters of here on earth are not the highest aim of an individual human being. In one person's life, um, one shall aim for the very highest aim, which is heavenly, delights or something, um, which you shall try to reach, and that um, the state and the king cannot help an individual being, human being, to reach the heavenly delight. The help for the human being, the individual human being, to reach that heavenly delight must come from the church and the pope. And that is also the reason why the church and the pope must have more power than the king if in a country one wants to have a good and decent organization of state matters. Also, for this reason, Thomas has laid the foundation for the necessity of a good, um, control by society of decency. It seems Thomas has written more than 7 million words, and well, he's he became especially famous for his proofs of the existence of God. But I think in fact Thomas has found all his thoughts in the thinking of Aristotle, and well, in their turn, the writings of Thomas with his thinking have been his thinking about heaven and earth have been very inspirational to Dante. Thomas' family name was from Aquino, Thomas from Aquino. And then 1320, that year, well, Dante, he was a poet, and he made a poem about a trip he made through hell. Well, initially, the shipper didn't want to carry Dante over the river to get into hell because Dante was not dead yet. But then a big earthquake took place and Dante fell unconscious. And when he was awake, he found himself at the other side of the river. Well, on the first floor of hell, he found, those who don't believe, heidenen, which had been blocked the access to heaven, but they are not bad enough to be tortured in hell. On the second floor, there was a big storm, and here were those who want sex, and too much of a lot of things like food, sex, whatever. So they were not able during their lives to control their sexual appetite. So they are on the second floor and it's always stormy there, the punishment. On the third floor, it's always raining. Always raining. Well, and here are those who have been eating too much. So yeah, if you eat too much, um, they, in order to be able to access heaven, they should have controlled their hunger, their eating too much. They should have controlled it. Yeah, to mention, well, these are of course the seven main sins. So your lust, your appetite. And it's not written here, but I recently discovered what is the very, very highest sin, the very, very highest sin, the highest sin possible. Well, it was to feel better, to think you know better than society. Well, and it's quite funny when you talk about economic liberalism and visionary captains of industry, founders of companies. They just exactly tell you they found a better way to do it, and they discovered the hole in the market and all those things, because if you think you know how to do it better, that is some kind of vanity, to feel better. And so but that's the very, very highest sin you can do, but it's not written here. Well, because in the book of Dante in 1320, those who spend too much money, who waste things like throwing away food, and those who want to have too much possessions, they really only care about their possessions. They are on the fourth floor, and they are punished there by that. All the time there is a heavy weight, and they have to transport it, but to no destination, so it's senseless. So they have a heavy burden which they need to carry all the time without a purpose. So when they care about their possessions, they want everything efficient and good, and but now they have to do senseless effort, while before they did effort for something, but now they have to do senseless effort. And then Dante reaches a river again, and on the other side of the river is the city of those who have used violence. So, people who use violence, who kill, who murder for money or whatever. And also, there are the burning graves of people who don't believe in the Christian God, who abandoned their own Christian religion. They became Protestant or something. So, but that was not yet at the time. But probably Muslim or something. Then you were or Qatar. Huh? So, and there is also a forest which consists of people who have committed suicide. So they go to hell. And so they became trees in hell. And in the end, there is a desert. And and in the desert is a fire on the heads. So it rains fire on the heads of those who insult God and those who charge too much interest rate. So that's really the end of things you can do. So then you end up in the desert with fire raining down on you all the time, like too much heat in the desert. And so on your head, it rains fire all the time in the middle of the desert, and to get that punishment in hell, you needed to have insulted God, or you needed to have charged too much interest. And then, very at the very bottom of hell, there is the pit of heaven, of evil, the pit of evil, and so there are devils running around and with a whip, and the seducers there run around with the devil with the whip behind him. Also, people who just tell things to get their own advantage, and really tell you the things you want to hear to their advantage. So they will lie and do anything they can to please you. Well, they are forever in the mud. And so they are upside down in the ground. And upside down in the ground are those who tried to get a place in heaven by buying it. Not a good idea, buying a place to get to heaven, because you will end up in the pit of evil somewhere down in hell, with your feet up and your head down in the mud. And well, probably they have fallen with their head down, and well, they will forever have to stay in the ground, in the mud. And then witches, they are also in hell. Yeah, we have no witches in heaven. And the clairvoyance, so people who predict the future, your future, witches and those viewers, they walk with their head, well, on the back of their head. So they cannot predict the future anymore. So they don't look forward, they look backwards. And that's how they walk in hell, in the pit of evil. Wow. And then there is also a bath with boiling asphalt. And in that bath with boiling asphalt are corrupt politicians. Yeah, they go to hell. No, and also functionaries, corrupt functionaries and politicians. They are really in a boiling bath of asphalt, and while they are in the bath, the devils well, make life difficult for them with a tree, with a stick with three pines, three, well, the typical thing the devil has. And thieves, they burn spontaneously, but they always rise out of their hands. Evil advisors, they burn forever in hell. Then you have the church splitters, the alchemists and the fakers, those who make like fake money and fake paintings, the and of course church preachers is like Muslims. Um, the enemies of Jesus, they are on the ground, nailed with a cross. And well, in 320, the work of Dante, after writing during 12 years, was finished. And well, 200 years later, Botticelli makes a painting about this hell, where it is represented visually.